sponge is a skeleton of an animal. It looks much like a plant, but it is one of the lowest forms of animal life. It can't swim, but it grows attached to a rock or the sea bottom. When sponges are alive, they're not all brown. They can be red, green, yellow, blue, or purple. They live in nearly all climates, but grow best in tropical waters. Sometimes sponges are as large as a bushel basket and weigh 50 or 60 pounds. Historically, a hook was used to tear sponges free from the bottom, but the industry gradually moved to cutting sponges from the ocean floor, which allows the sponges to more easily regenerate. Diving quickly became the accepted method of collecting sponges. In June 1905, a large group of Greek immigrants from the Greek islands settled in Tarpon Springs, and by the end of 1906, 1,500 Greek sponge fishers, divers, and workers had arrived. Tarpon Springs prospered through the 20s and 30s, and the sponge fleet averaged around 200 vessels. By 1936, Tarpon Springs was recognized as a sponge capital of the world, and more than 2,000 Greeks had moved to Tarpon Springs. The sponge industry in Tarpon Springs then was growing to its maximum, and a rich Greek culture began to flourish. Then a number of factors, including a mysterious disease in the late 1930s, red tides, overfishing, and introduction of synthetic sponges during the 50s, shrunk the fishery to a small fraction of its former size. Prior to World War II, Florida annually produced approximately 600,000 pounds of sponges. Today, production totals just 60 to 70,000 pounds, and according to Ali, one of the boat owners, there are now only 5 to 7 active sponge boats in Tarpon Springs. When we met Ali, he, his 2 sons, and a nephew were in the process of bagging the sponges they had spread on the dock to dry. Then they'll wait for the buyers to come. Ali said that at one time they would have gotten $20,000 for the sponges they had from this 18-day trip, but now with only 2 or 3 buyers left, that they'll be lucky to get $10,000. To quote Ali, "It's all Bush's fault." Ali started diving for sponges when he was 13 and lived in Turkey and Greece. He came to the U.S. in 1971. And he told us that the red tide in 1969 had destroyed all the sea life except the shrimp. But then the sponges started coming back in late 1970, and when he got here it was like everything was new again, and there was an abundance of sponges. To harvest the sponges, they dive 300 to 600 feet and cut the sponges free at the bottom, then put them in a net that they carry with them. When their net is full, they send it up, and an empty one is sent back. By cutting the sponges instead of tearing them, they will grow again. Ali told us that in the springtime, the sea bottom is beautiful just like land. Everything is fresh and growing. He also told us that the sponges grow faster in shallower water. On a personal note, Ali shared with us that he was no longer married, but had 3 wives. He said it is hard to keep a wife when he's gone for 4 weeks at a time, and that he would come home and find his wife had run off with another man. He said they would tell him that he left them alone for too long. He would then tell them, "What do you think I'm doing, sleeping with a mermaid?" Ali said he saved his money and went home to Greece as often as he could, but that there would always be a new baby that took all of his money. We asked him how many children he had, and he told us 40 with a grin. Later he told us he had 1 girl and 4 boys. Ali took his oldest son out with him when he was 5 years old, hoping to scare him so he wouldn't want to go into the sponge diving business. But it didn't work. His son loved it, and he is still doing it. His younger son just came back from his first trip and was out for 18 days. He told his dad, to quote Ali, "You can shove that job," and that he is going back to school. Of course, that's exactly what Ali wanted to hear. We asked him how much longer he's going to do this, and he said it doesn't matter. Then he grinned and said, "I'm almost dead anyway." I think he was just referring to his age. We had a good time with Ollie. He was very informative and had a great sense of humor. It made our day that much more fun.